Lots of friendly faces up here in Penticton as we're back at Young Stars for the first time in many years. But someone who's newer to the community, but most certainly a friendly face, is our old friend Jonathan Wall, former Vancouver Canucks executive who has been instrumental in the development of this tournament over the years. Great to see you, my friend. How are you?
Great to see you guys.
Thanks new to the community and familiar to the tournament, too, obviously.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
exactly.
Like you are walking, talking Young Stars tournament history here, Jonathan. You go all the way back to Genesis.
Absolutely. I remember coming up here with Stan and meeting with the mayor and the council and the arena at the time.
And let's face it was an inside job because Stan was like, I don't really want to go into town early.
Stan is the mayor of Summerland, unofficial mayor of Summerland. Yeah. So we met, and the venue is just this first-class venue with an unbelievable staff. And the venue is really uniquely situated, uniquely set up to host an event like this with 2 sheets of ice, all the dressing rooms, gym space, conference room, catering. They can do it all there. So it's just a perfect fit.
So this is 2009, right? Because the first one was 2010.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So when the idea got brought, to, I guess it was Gillis at the time.
It was Mike. Yeah.
Take it from there.
Yeah. So he sort of came to me and said, I want you to go up there and take a look. And I'd had a long history running our training camps. So going out and checking out venues, checking out cities, and planning and running our training camps. So he said, Jonathan, this is perfect for you. Go set up. We want to do this. Mm-hmm. So we came up and sort of set up the arena and got that sorted and started reaching out to teams. And I think the first year was Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, San Jose, and Anaheim.
Yes.
So we had some of the American teams up, and then we had some teams move in and out, and now we've got this core 4 of teams that have been great partners for us. And we're hoping Seattle joins us next year potentially.
Was it a skeptical eye from Mike that first time? Like, they want to do this. I don't know if this is right for us. It means travel. What was his tone?
Well, I think Mike might not want to say this. I think he thought there's some great wineries up here. So it's a perfect fit.
Exactly.
Yeah,
if you know Gillis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think it's done for the org? We know what it's done for the city. I mean, I come up here a lot, and it sort of extends tourism season, and boy, do they love having it up here. But what do you think it's done for the organization?
Well, I think part of the push initially as well was the fact that, being here a lot in the summers, you see a lot of other teams' swag. So the Okanagan is really split between, you got Flames fans and Oilers fans and Canucks fans and Jets fans. And I think it really helped sort of cement the Canucks' presence in the Okanagan. And it really created that connection between the Okanagan and the Canucks. Yeah. And really kind of put a bit of a presence here.
Absolutely.
And then as an event where you get to see your players in this live action in real games. Mm-hmm. It's one of the only rookie tournaments that's played in a venue with full seats or full crowds. You got the music, the scoreboard. It really is proper games. Yeah. And for a lot of these players, some of these players, Connor McDavid was here, and it's the first step in moving towards being a superstar. But for a lot of these kids, it's their only chance to put on an NHL jersey.
Were you guys the second ones to do it? Traverse City's really old. Was that? Yeah. Were you guys the second one?
I think we were. Yeah. And now I think virtually every team's involved in them. And they all ebb and flow. There's Traverse City, I think, is down to 5 teams this year. So they're down from, I think, 8 or 9 to 5. And some teams just do geographic games where it's close by, Tampa and Florida maybe. So there's lots of iterations. But I think most teams now are doing something of this nature.
Yeah, I think it's Boston, Buffalo, Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa are all in Buffalo this week.
And all the SoCal teams too, right? With San Jose too, I think so. Well, it's become a great developmental tool because, again, we talk about this all the time. Nothing's won and lost here. I mean, beyond the game itself, but I mean, future trajectories for these prospects aren't decided upon here. But it's just, kind of pseudo live bullets for the coaches and players just to get that first glimpse. So it works for the community and it works for the organization too, doesn't it?
It works for everybody. And it's just a great partnership. Like I said, we've got between the venue, Spectra Venue Management, the city of Penticton, and all 4 teams. And really, we host it. The Canucks have always been the title name on the partnership, but really all the teams have to get together and decide to come here. And, there's not really a push to move it around because the teams want to come to Penticton. They love coming here. A lot of the management groups have connections to the town or to the area. So it really is a natural fit for everybody.
Did you buy that those Alberta teams were not going to come back here? Because they were thinking about doing their own thing in Red Deer.
They did. I mean, they did.
They did for 1 year. And again, we're flexible and there's lots of iterations. But my goal as the chair of the local committee is that we're going to set this up in stone. And it's just everyone's going to know that this weekend you come to Penticton and you see hockey.
Do you think the roster will flux then? Do you think the who comes here will change year to year?
I hope not. I hope we'll do a debrief after, and we'll talk to the other teams and see what they thought. But I would love to be able to go to Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Vancouver right away here and get a commitment for a multi-year deal to come back, and then we'll see where Seattle's at and if they want to cross the border and come up. But it makes perfect sense.
Sure it does.
And if you're not familiar, the Canucks games typically sell out. You have a great crowd. What is the one thing we always hear about the Blue Jays say about the Nat and the Vancouver Canadians? Our prospects need to learn how to play before an expectant audience, and so you get a little bit of that here. In Penticton. Okay, so you helped establish the thing, and then it went away, and then you helped bring it back. Tell us that story.
Yeah.
It was just a chance encounter over here at the SOEC?
Yeah, so when I was with the Canucks this fall, we had started the process of bringing it back. And it's always been a huge part of my portfolio, and I sort of spearheaded all of that. And when I was like, there sort of was a bit of a timing thing where stuff needed to get done, and I felt there might be an opportunity for me now that I'm living and working in Penticton to have an involvement with the team. So I was at a V's game and ended up meeting up with the general manager of the building and sort of floated the idea of getting on board from the local side and bridging the gap. And he was very excited, and obviously the experience I bring. And I then talked to Stan Smeal and asked him how the Canucks would feel about it. And I think they were excited that I would be able to help make sure that the tournament is successful, and not taking anything away from the group that's there. They've got a super capable group in Vancouver, but just the history and the knowledge I had, and being able to sort of bridge the gap and point people in the right directions, it just made for a perfect fit.
Not to mention that management group comes in mid-season. They have all these plans. They're talking practice facility renovations at Rogers Arena.
Takes the workload off somebody there
absolutely.
too. So,
huge capital-intensive projects going on back in Vancouver. So you've been tremendous in helping out and getting it back here. Thank you, because we enjoy coming here, and it's become sort of the unofficial kickoff of hockey season.
Well, it is, and it's amazing. I remember a number of years ago, a big media personality who probably works for some other network that I won't mention, but he was on his deck in the morning and tweeted out a photo to like 1 million people.
Yeah.
Or Instagrammed a photo to like 1 million people around the world that are seeing Penticton and seeing this area. So that's a huge part of it too, is we get the visitors coming, but they also go home and tell their friends and family, and they send photos back to Europe and all over the world showing our community and our area. And then they come back as visitors and as tourists, and they tell their friends. And for me, I fell in love with it here, and then now I live here and work here. So it does work.
It must be fun for you too. I'm sure it was a dream job working for the Canucks for all those years. To get your toe back into it a little bit and be a part of the mix. I'm sure that's fun for you to...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was looking at the credential lists the other day, just kind of going through out of curiosity, and it's going to be an interesting feeling for me as I see all these familiar faces and people that I've worked with and helped mentor, and seeing all these people have success now too. It's really exciting for me. And when part of the thing that I needed to communicate to Stan and the Canucks group is there's no hard feelings here. What happened, and that's part of the business. And I'm really excited to be a part of this and move this forward and have an involvement.
Ostensibly, he's working in real estate up here, Blake, but I'm wondering whether Mayor Jonathan Wall is in the future here, the way he's talking about.
Well, he might have gone from dream job to dream life here, because it doesn't look too bad up
like
here.
our friends Mike Coghill here at Neighbourhood. They moved up here. They had Mike and Melinda, and they absolutely love it up here.
Yeah. It's amazing. I was just talking to Mike about that, and this spot on this corner, as they were building it and kitting it out, and as it opened, it just, for me, this was sort of the change of Penticton. You have this high-end, great, beautiful space. And it really, to me, it's just, they've got this great vibe in Penticton now, and it's not just about going out to wineries. You've got this brewery culture and the outdoor recreation, and it's just such a neat spot here, and I'm really proud to call it home.
No, absolutely. It has been sort of the catalyst for a lot of what you see going on here downtown Penticton. We know they are master brewers. The food here is fantastic too. We should shout out Bad Tattoo. They were here several years ago down the block, and they've done well. And I've loved seeing what's going on down there on Lakeshore from Okanagan Lake, because there was a little bit of need for refreshing that, and it's looking gorgeous. And I suspect the next project will be down Skaha Way here in Penticton. Do you miss hockey? How do you reflect back on your career as a hockey executive? How many years was it, Jonathan?
It was 20 plus years. I started as an intern. Mike Penny hired me as an intern.
Oh, wow.
Way back when, I think it was 98, maybe 96, I think. And then when Berkey came in, Mike basically said, you got to hire this kid, this guy who basically can use Excel. You can use Microsoft Excel.
This new thing called
He's
Excel.
the guy who can use Excel.
Exactly. You need to hire him. So Mike talked to Brian. I think Brian hired Dave Nonis and then hired me, I think, second or third. And I had an incredible life, incredible career, incredible memories, met, great people. Went to a Stanley Cup final, came back, obviously.
Where were you geographically at that point? Were you
Vancouver.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
So my parents, their first date was at a Canucks game. Honestly.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh.
Back in the old, I guess WHA or WHL days.
Yeah.
And so for me, the history is there. And I remember going to the finals in 82 and 94, and to get a job for my hometown team was a dream come true. And it was a great career. And I can look back at it fondly, very fondly.
You performed so many roles for the Vancouver Canucks over the years. What was your favorite?
I think my favorite was the fact that I was able to do all of those roles. I was really, I think Mike one time called me almost like the spoke in a wheel, where I kind of was the one who was able to bridge sort of different departments and bring different departments together. I'm really proud of the work we did on analytics. I know our team never got the credit we did, and that was by design. We didn't want to tell a lot of people what we were doing, but the work we did, a lot of that, the stuff that we pioneered is now commonplace in the analytics world, which is really exciting. The Penticton tournament obviously is a huge one. Dealing with immigration and helping players come to Canada and help their families, and making sure all that stuff was taken care of. It was just a chance to to be a part of it. And people joke, you talk to young people, say I would do anything to work in the NHL.
Right.
I would do anything, and I kind of did.
Yeah, good. For
I was
you.
at the airport at 3 a.m. and cutting video and scouting meetings and all these things, and it really was a dream come true. It really was.
All because of Excel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There you go, kids. Learn Excel.
Well, now
learn that new Microsoft product. It will take you places.
I mean, now we're you get I was getting resumes. I'd have to ask people what does it mean. Now you're getting people that have this. They're bringing really smart people who've got incredible technical skills, programming and high end math and stats skills. And for me, I realized on the analytics side, I realized what my limitations were, and ended up hiring really smart people. And to see their success now is hugely gratifying for me.
But
Is Ryan Beach one of the guys you hired?
Yep.
Yeah.
A fun cross
Some of them
section,
endure,
though.
right?
Sorry.
So some of your hires endure with the
Absolutely.
Canucks.
Aiden Fox is someone that I brought into my department at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of Aiden. Someone asked me, how do you feel with Aiden taking over some of the stuff you did? Does it make, I'm like a proud dad.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Good
I'm
for you.
so proud of Aiden and Ryan and Miles and the group that we put together there. And the fact that multiple groups have come in and been blown away by the work we do. And, obviously, seeing that Ryan and Aiden have been taken care of, it really, to me, is just so gratifying. And it just shows that the work we did, even though maybe we didn't always get the credit, we were doing really good work.
I was just going to add a fun cross section for your job description. You got to work with the numbers and kind of crunch things, but also had that human element of bringing the families in and getting people into that Canucks family. We are all Canucks sort of feeling
Absolutely.
it. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Well, you were always fantastic with us. I know
you.
I shot you a note as soon as I heard the news.
No, I appreciate
we miss
that,
you tons in Vancouver and with the Canucks. Thank you for this, my friend, and thank you for young stars.
Yeah,
at
keeping it
large.
going.
Yeah, well done.
It was my pleasure. I was so excited to come on with you guys and see you guys again. And this week for me is just going to be a lot of familiar faces and really a lot of fun. So I can't wait.
He's beaming the future mayor of Penticton, Jonathan Wall, here.